Margaret Chase Smith of Maine receives a warm and sprightly tribute. Honor for the first woman to have her name before a major political convention.
Would you vote for a woman for president?
No,
Why not?
I don't believe women are as capable as men.
1964 was a year of ups and downs for Maine Senator Margaret Chase Smith. At the Republican National Convention, she was named as a potential presidential candidate. Ultimately, that prize went to Barry Goldwater, but Smith was still the first woman of any major party to have made it that far. And that was one of many firsts for Margaret Chase Smith, and her groundbreaking political legacy has a new honor in the U.S. Capitol.
A room is now dedicated to Senator Smith and Senator Barbara Mikulski. Apart from her presidential aspirations, Margaret Chase Smith was the first woman to represent Maine and Washington, and she was the first woman in America to serve in both the House and the Senate. And her 1960 Senate race was the first in the country in which both the Republican and Democrat candidates were women. Margaret Chase Smith has served as an inspiration to many politicians, including the woman who now holds her seat.
And she talked to me for nearly 2 hours. A high school girl, 18 years old, from Caribou, Maine, spent 2 hours with the legendary Margaret Chase Smith. And I remember leaving her office and feeling so proud that she was my senator. And I also remember thinking that women could do anything.
She used to always go to the elementary school in Skowhegan to read to the kids. And sure enough, the elementary school in Skowhegan is called the Margaret Chase Smith School. And every year she would read to the kids and then ask for questions. And one year, she told me this story. One year, this one little girl raised her hand and said, "How do you happen to be named after our school?"
Margaret Chase Smith once wrote a letter that started, "I'm delighted that you have arrived." She wrote it to now Governor Janet Mills's care of Mills's father, Peter, and she said that Mills had a lot to live up to.
Reading the letter, that just about a week after Janet is born, Margaret is already making this prophecy that she has a lot to live up to. And 70 years later, she's gone on to live up to that.
Senator Smith was friendly with the Mills family. The Mills are a long-running political dynasty from the Farmington area, and Smith came out of Skowhegan. Margaret Chase Smith was also famous for standing up to bullies. She was the first to speak out against Senator Joseph McCarthy, whose Red Scare tactics warped politics in America for years.
At the time, it was not necessarily a popular position for her to take. Many years later, in a 1991 interview with News Center Maine, Senator Smith reflected on her relationship with the people of our state.
People voted for me and supported me because they believed in me. And the experiences through the years showed clearly that I was straightforward, and I might not please everybody, but I did that which I thought was best for the people I represented. Why? I think many times history repeats itself, and I think it would not if we stressed history more in the schools. And as I was saying, take the good from yesterday and cast aside the bad. We'd have a much better world.
Words to live by.